Good morning, fifth graders. Today we are on page 169 and we are on lesson 15. We're going to be doing something a little bit different than we have. So we are still going to be plotting points or reading points at some times, and we're still going to have an x-axis and a y-axis and something similar to a coordinate plane, but we're going to be taking a different look at it. So our objective today, or our goal, is today I will graph and analyze real data, period. Okay, so what analyze means is that we're going to look at closely or study. So we're going to be looking at closely or studying some real data. Now, what real data is usually going to be like a set of numbers, some sort of set of numbers that could, because real is good, that could apply to real life. Okay, so let's look at our vocabulary since we're moving on to something a little bit new. And what I want you to see is our first word is line graph. So it's a graph that uses data points connected by lines to demonstrate how the data changes in value, usually as time goes by. So the key word there is those data points. Those data points are what we have been using as kind of like our coordinate points or our ordered pairs. Those are going to be the data points. So if you look at the example, and I know it's really faded, but just do your best. If I look at this first data point, I see it's 43. Okay, that's the data point is right there. So that's giving us a piece of data. Now I'm going to scoot over to this one. This one says 50. And if you notice, what does that mean? Well, if we look at this, the title of this line graph says temperatures in New York City. And on the x-axis, it's a 3, but it says day 3. So they usually will have titles on the axes and title for the whole line graph. So on day 3, they have a 50. And what does the 50 tell us? It tells us the degrees in Fahrenheit. So it's a temperature. And then if we notice, the next day on day 4, the data point is at 57, so it's gone up. So that's where the change goes. So we see it went up, it went down, it went up, it went up, and it went up a lot. Okay, but we're still going to have our y-axis, we're still going to have our x-axis. So that's where the similarities are going to come from. Okay, our steps today say we're going to identify the coordinate points and use a T-chart. I will show you what that means. Then we're going to plot and graph the coordinate points and answer our questions. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I am putting down my marker and I want you just to follow along with my first problem. So here is my first problem, and it says, Janine has already I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the problem I want to do. I'm going to save that for you and I to do together. Okay, let's try another one. The table shows the average rainfall each month for 1 year in Smith River, California. Graph the data on the coordinate plane provided. Between which 2 months was there the greatest increase in rainfall? Okay, so the title of this then tells us it's going to be the average rainfall in Smith River. So we could add a title to it. Oh, my pencil broke. Let's go on to our marker. Could be our average rainfall is kind of what this entire line graph is going to be about. Okay, now what I notice is they don't give me my ordered pairs like we've seen in the past. They give me this data table, this table full of data. Now, what I'm going to do with this table of data, though, is I know that my ordered pairs are given to me in the XY form. And that's actually what these are. These are going to be my XYs. Now, for the months, because they are given in like word form, I'm going to turn them into numerical form. So January is the first month, February 2nd is the third, March is the third month, April 4th, 5th, and I'm going to continue all the way down to our 12th month of the year, which is December. And now what that's done is it's created for me my XYs. So these are going to be my ordered pairs, and then when I plot them, they will be my coordinate points. Okay, so I just took my data and I turned it into ordered pairs. Now I could rewrite them, but I think this is pretty clear. My first X is 1 and my first Y is 13. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I need to graph these. It tells me graph the data. Well, when I go to graph the data, right here, graph the data, I notice there's no scale on my coordinate plane. So I need to create a scale. I'm going to first put in my origin, and then I'm going to look at my X values. My X values go from 1 to 12. So my scale for my X-axis could definitely just be counting by ones. So I'm just going to count by ones and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I just have a scale of ones. Now let's look at my Y's. My Y's, I see a 13, I see a 14. 15 is my largest Y value. So I think I again can have a scale of ones for my Y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, now I'm just going to plot these, just like I've done. So my first X is 1, and the Y is 13, which means it's going to go right there. My next X is 2, and the Y is 11. Okay, now watch what I'm going to do though, because this is a line graph, I'm going to connect them. Okay, my next X is 3, and my Y is 10. Then I have an X of 4 with a Y of 7. Then I have an X of 5 with a Y of 4. Then an X of 6 with a Y of 2. An X of 7 with a 0 Y, which would be right here on the X-axis. An X of 8 with a Y of 1. A 9 with a Y of 2, a 10 with a Y of 5, an 11 with a Y of, wow, that goes all the way up to 14. Let's make sure I don't make a mistake there. That's a big jump up. And then a X of 12 with a Y of 15. Okay, so this is what my line graph is. Now, here was my title for my line graph. I usually want a title for my axes too. So for my X, this is the month, and for my Y, it's the average rainfall. Okay, so now I've plotted them, and my next question says, between which 2 months was there the greatest increase? Increase means it went up. In rainfall. So where did I see the biggest increase in rainfall? Well, if I look here, it's definitely, I'm going to use a different color so you can see it. This is where the increase was, right here, right? So what month was that? That was between month 10 and month 11. So I could say my answer could be October to November. And that is how I would attack that one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do another one for you. Okay, here is my next one. Okay, I am sorry, I'm trying to find my right papers. I just can't find them right now. Okay, I am actually not going to do the next one. We're just going to get started together then. Okay, so boys and girls, let's get started. My next one that I'm going to do with you looks like this, or the first one I'm going to do with you looks like this, and it says Janine has already saved, and I'm going to do this with you, so grab your pencil because I'm going to grab my green pen. Janine has already saved $5. She earns $8 for each hour she works. If Janine saves all of her money, how much money will she have after working 3 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours? Create a graph that shows the relationship between the hours Janine will work and the amount of money she will save. What other information do you know from analyzing the graph? Okay, so some key things. Let's go back and reread that because that was a lot. It says that she's already saved $5. And that probably is why I see here when she's worked 0 hours, she already had $5. And then they tell us she earns $8 for each hour she works. So look at after 1 hour, she added $8 right there. So it went from 5 to 13. And then when she worked another hour, 13 plus 8 equals 21. So it looks like each hour they're adding money on. Okay, and notice they even told me on this one, this is my X and Y. So that's going to be my first XY, my second XY, my third XY. Okay, what did the question want us to do? They want to know how much will she have after working for 3 hours, 5 hours, and 10 hours. Okay, so that's what we need to fill in before we can work on our graph. So let's look at our table really closely here. Okay, so I see it goes from 2 to 3, which means she earned another $8. So that means after 3 hours, she had $29. Okay, look what they did though to trick us here. They jumped straight to 5. So that's going to be tricky because they skipped 4. I might just put the 4 down here to help me. So if she had $29 after 3 hours, how much would she have after 4 hours? Wouldn't we have to add another $8? So 29 plus 8 is $37. Then we can go to the 5 hours. And wouldn't we have to add another $8 to that? So if we said 37 plus 8, wouldn't that give her $45? Okay. Now if we pay attention, it goes straight to 10. We can't jump to 10, so we probably want to continue our graph down here. So what about for 6 hours, maybe 7 hours, maybe 8 hours, and 9 hours? I probably want to record those so I can keep track of them. So I know after 5 hours she had $45, but then she worked and earned another $8, so wouldn't that be $53? Because I just added 8 to 45. Well, after 7 hours, would we add another $8? So 53 plus 8 is 61. Then she worked another 8 hours, so she gets another $8. So 61 plus 8 is 69. Then she works another hour, so she gets another $8. So 69 plus 8 is 77. And then we can go to 10 hours. So she works another hour, so she gets another $8. So 77 plus 8 would be 85. So we answered our first question. Our first question said, how much does she make for 3, 5, and 10 hours? And we filled it in right here on our table. But then it tells us, create a graph that shows the relationship between the hours Janine will work and the amount of money she will save. So now they just kind of want us to plot these points. So we said when our X was 0 hours, because here's the hours worked, she had already had $5. So I have a 0x with a Y5. And then after 1 hour, she had $13. Look at the problem though, boys and girls. This is 10 to 13. 10 to 15. There's no 13 there. But I know 13 is between 10 and 15. It's actually a little bit closer to the 15. So I'm going to put it right about there. Then we have 2 Our x is 2 and our y is 21. So here's my x of 2. And again, I don't have a 21, but the 21 is going to be right on top of the 20. Then after 3 hours, she had $29. So 29 is going to be right below the 30. After 4 hours, which is down here, she had $37. So 37 should be somewhere between the 35 and 40. After 5 hours, she had $45. And then after 6 hours, she had $53. So 53 should be between the 50 and 55. After 7 hours, she had $61, which should be right on top of the 60. After 8 hours, she had $69, which will be right underneath the 70. 9 hours, she had $77, which is between 75 and 80. And at 10 hours, she had $85. And look at that nice, consistent line there. So our line is consistent in a straight line because what was happening was she was earning the same amount every hour. But remember when I did mine with you, my line was kind of all over the place. So sometimes line graphs could look like this, but they often look like this as well. Okay, let's try another one together, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here is our next one. And it says, for 2 weeks, Madison kept track of how much money she made in tips as a barista. Oh, Starbucks, my favorite. Graph her tips and answer the questions below. Okay, so this title, what this is about would be like maybe Madison's tips. That's the title. Madison's tips. That's what this whole graph is going to be about. Okay, if we look over here, it says our X is our day. So this is my X. So I'm going to say the day here. And then it says my Y is amount in tips. So it looks like the dollar amount. So we can put on our Y, dollar amount in tips. Okay, so I have my line graph set up ready to go. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see everything. And they already told us this is my X and that's my Y. So if I look at my X's, my largest X is 14, so I definitely can fit 14 on here. So I'm going to do my origin, 0, 0, and then let's do our scale of ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, let's look at our Y's. I see a value of 17. Looks like 17 is my largest value. I do see these 50 cents. I wish I could count by 50 cents, but I know that I won't have enough. I'll run out. So I'm just going to have to count by a scale of 1 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 was her largest amount in tips. Okay, so now we are ready just to plot it. So on day 1, she had $6. So we can go to our X1 and our Y6, and that is how much she had on day 1. On day 2, which is our X, she had $8. So day 2, $8. On day 3, $9. Okay, on day 4, she had $6.50. This is going to be a little tricky. So on day 4, she had $6.50. So that's more than 6, but less than 7, and it's going to be right in between 6 and 7, right in the middle. On day 5, that was her lucky day. She had $17. I wonder if she just had a really nice customer that day. On day 6, she had $15.50. So on day 6, I'm going to put it between the 15 and the 16, right there. On day 7, she had $10. And notice I haven't been connecting them as I went. I probably could do that now, maybe so they don't get too messy. Here's our big jump right here. So I can start connecting them. On day 8, she had $8. So day 8 was $8. Day 9 was back down to $5. Day 10 was $7.50, which would be right between the 7 and 8. Day 11 was just $7. Day 12 was up to $12. Day 13 was $16.50, which is going to be between the 16 and the 17. And then day 14 is $15, so it took a little drop. Okay, so now that we have our line graph, we can answer our questions. Which day did Madison earn the fewest tips? Now we could have done that from just this alone. We could have looked here, but look how much more visual this is. When I go through here, I could miss it. But on here, it's really clear, and I'm going to get a different marker just to see. It's really clear the lowest one. That's her lowest one was $5, which if I look at it, it was day 9. Day 9 was her lowest amount of tips earned. Okay, let's look at our next question. Oh, I didn't see that part. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Between which 2 days did Madison have the biggest decrease in tips? Where did she take the biggest drop? Well, I'm going to look at all of the drops. So this was a drop. This was a drop. This was a drop. Drop, 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 and drop. So which drop was the largest? I hope you're seeing right here. This was the largest drop right there. And what days was that? It was between days 6 and 7. So that would be how we would answer that. We could say between days 6 and 7. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping that you feel ready to do some of these on your own. You are only doing page 172 and 173. Have a good day.